Late spring in PA's a mess. Never know what you'll get. This April, warm rain nonstop. Grass shot up like it was on steroids. Normally, I don't touch the mower till mid-May, but this year it was a jungle by the first week. Wrapped up mowing, stashed the gear, and boom! Itchy eyes. Stupid allergies. I started up the basement steps, headed for a shower. Reached for the kitchen door, then froze. Voices. Kelly, Olivia. I'd seen her car out front, figured they were hanging out. But what they were saying, that stopped me cold. My hand hung in the air. I should back up. Introduce myself properly. Name's Robert Crane, Bob to most. Back in college, they called me Hogan because of that old TV show. Don't ask, it stuck. Got my accounting degree from Penn, knocked out my CPA fast, and now I run an audit crew in Philly. Forensic work's my thing, tracking fraud, money trails, dirty cash. Not flashy, but it pays real good. I'm damn good at it too. Even did some gigs for the FBI. Kelly, met her freshman year. Policy and business double major, already dead set on law school. First time I saw her, I swear the room froze. Tall, lean like a dancer, but had those curves. Strawberry blonde hair, sundress, legs for days. Sandals, sweet and hot all at once, hit me like a punch to the gut. I was done. Took me a month to say a word. Dropped some dumb joke. She didn't just laugh. She threw her head back and let it rip. I asked her to grab coffee. She grinned. Been waiting 4 weeks for you to ask. We were glued together all through college. Moved in senior year. Our folks weren't thrilled, but they got over it once they saw how solid we were. I landed a fat-paying job in Philly, straight out of school. Kelly got into Penn Law. We stayed in our tiny student apartment. Cheap rent, I rode SEPTA to work. 3 years later, she passed the bar. I popped the question over steaks at Morton's. We were married 6 months later. She took a deputy DA gig up in Bucks County. We bought a place in Doylestown. Courthouse was close. SEPTA ran up there too. My commute sucked, but it beat sitting on I-95 for hours. Kelly and her mom picked the house, 3-bed starter. One room became our shared office, another for guests, master for us. Kelly called it perfect for when we have kids. Bonus, her parents lived close. Built-in babysitters, she said. Kids, we'd talked about it since freshman year. Agreed to wait until her career was stable. 2 nights before that fateful mowing session, we reached that point. Sat down, talked seriously. Agreed to stop her birth control. Start trying. I was ecstatic. Floating. Finally, the complete family I, an only child, had always craved. Life felt perfect. Then the overheard words that shattered it all. Hanging there on the basement stairs, invisible. Hogan and I decided it's time for me to get pregnant, Kelly announced, her voice bright with excitement. Olivia let out that squeal, high-pitched like a dying dolphin. I've always hated that sound. They were laughing, all hyped up, like life was perfect. My hand started moving towards the knob again, a stupid grin plastered on my face. That's wonderful, Kel, Olivia gushed. Then, the question that stopped my heart. But what are you going to do about Paul? The floor seemed to vanish beneath me. Silence. Shh, Kelly hissed. Hogan's outside mowing. Silence. I could picture her checking over her shoulder. Then, low and flat. I told Paul it's over. He gets it. Grossman's stepping down, and he's eyeing that Senate seat. Can't risk getting caught screwing a married coworker. Looks bad, it's done. Clean break. It hit like a neutron bomb. Blew a hole straight through the life I thought I had. Paul Evans. Her boss, widower, early 40s. His wife died of cancer, left him with a daughter, Barbara, I think. Guy's all charm and ambition, climbing the political ladder like he was born for it. Kelly used to talk him up like he was some genius, how slick he was with party moves, all his brilliant strategy. Now I knew why she knew so much. The affair made everything click. Late nights, last-minute meetings, all those vague excuses. Lies dressed up like work. Really? Olivia sounded skeptical. Just cold turkey? You two have been hot for 6 months, Kel. Just poof. That tone, the doubt. Like it was some joke between them. Made me want to rip the door off and choke her out. Olivia. Knew her from Penn. Before I even met Kelly. I thought she was my friend too. Guess I've been wrong about a lot lately. Stop it, Kelly said, but she was laughing under her breath. You're terrible. Paul's intense. Great in bed, sure. It was just rough fun, scratching an itch. I love Hogan. But Paul, he took what he wanted. No feelings, just raw power. Passion. Another giggle. Now that Bob and I are having a baby, I can't risk it. I love Hogan. I'm gonna be a good wife, a good mom. My stomach flipped. How many times could she say she loved me while talking about screwing her boss? All I needed now was to find them in our bed. Real Lifetime movie stuff. Every nerve in my body was screaming. Kick the door in, tear the place apart, let it all out. But I didn't move. Couldn't. My heart pounded like it was trying to punch its way out of my chest. So, like really cold turkey? Olivia pressed again, refusing to let it go. Kelly let out that low, throaty laugh I used to love. Now it just sounded trashy. Well, not exactly cold turkey, she said, all smug. Next week, that conference in Pittsburgh with Paul? Let's just say we'll have a very proper goodbye. Pause. Then softer, almost dreamy. God, I'll miss his Johnson, but Hogan and the baby, they're what really matter. That was it. I couldn't take another word. It hit like a punch to the chest, but I didn't blow up. Rage wasn't gonna help me. My training kicked in. Cold, sharp, clinical, think, process, plan. I needed proof. So I stomped up the rest of the stairs loud as hell, made sure they heard me coming. Let them feel me coming back into the world. Then I opened the kitchen door. Kelly and Olivia sat at the table. Innocent chatter died on their lips. Was that guilt flickering in Kelly's eyes or just surprise? "You okay, honey?" she asked, all fake sweet. That's when I noticed, tears running down my face, mixing with the sweat and dirt. "Allergies," I croaked. "Spring's gonna be rough." "Aw, poor baby," Kelly said, flipping into doting wife mode like flipping a switch. "Go shower. Just toss your clothes by the hamper. I'll wash them. Don't want pollen everywhere." I grabbed more Claritin D. It's in the cabinet. It all felt sick now, like some twisted performance. "Thanks," I mumbled, heading upstairs, kneading out. I wasn't just washing off grass, I was scrubbing off the lie. Monday morning, claimed I had an early meeting, bailed before Kelly woke up. Didn't want the fake morning routine. On the train into Philly, their words just kept looping in my head. My wife. Cheating. Not some one-time slip-up. 6 months. Cold. Calculated. And now she's cutting it off, not because she feels bad, but because it might screw up his shot at the Senate, and because she wants my kid. Everything we had was fake, scripted, and I never even saw it. I'm an accountant. I live by risk assessment. And this was a total system failure. It wasn't a crack in trust. It was full-on demolition. Her choices didn't just betray me, they showed straight-up contempt. For me, for our marriage, for everything we were building together. Work was a haze. Spreadsheets blurred, numbers ran together. But deep down, my brain wouldn't stop grinding. I had nothing, just words I overheard, easy to deny. No proof. If I confronted her now, she'd spin it, lie straight to my face. And Paul Evans, he'd steamroll me. Dude's locked in tight. DA, connected, respected. His word versus mine, I'd get crushed. Taking him on in court would be financial suicide. Every judge, every suit in 5 counties either owed him or feared him. He'd bury me to protect his Senate bid. Thought about leaving, just grabbing my stuff and starting over. But the house, we barely had equity. Kelly couldn't swing the mortgage solo. A forced sale now, we'd be looking at foreclosure. And me, a CPA with bad credit? Career ender. Trust is my whole trade. I was cornered. The only way out, get the kind of proof nobody could deny. 3 days in hell, played it cool at home, acted normal, pretended everything was fine. Meanwhile, I searched, quietly. Her laptop, wiped clean, no burner emails, no shady folders. Closet, nothing. No unusual lingerie stashed away. Receipts, boring. Nothing out of place, like chasing a ghost. She was either slick as hell, or I'd been blind. Maybe both? Then Thursday afternoon, she calls my office line, cheery as ever. "Honey, guess what? We're invited to Paul's Friday night. Big announcement party. His Senate launch." Of course, perfect chance to watch them up close. Friday night rolled in. Evans' estate near Washington Crossing was a full-blown flex. Massive mansion, perfect lawns, even a horse farm out back. A huge white tent took over the backyard. And there he was, Paul Evans. Center stage, all smiles and handshakes like some discount king. He lit up at Kelly like she was his prize pony. "Kelly, you made it! Wonderful!" A little kiss on her cheek. My gut twisted. Then he turned to me, extended his hand, eyes gleaming with smugness. "Robert, great to see you. I'd be lost without your wife, you know." He laughed, Fake, smooth. But I hear I'll have to give her up soon. Baby on the way, right? Another chuckle. Just let me borrow her when you're done, yeah? No hard feelings. Kelly blushed. The way he talked, like she was his to loan out. No shame, no respect. I wanted to drive my fist straight through his smile. Who knows what the future holds, Paul? I said, flat and dry. Same tone I use when dropping bad audit results. His smile twitched. Barely. Kelly elbowed me and whispered something about me being rude. Evans pivoted smooth as ever, turning to the next guests, like we were already yesterday's news. And there we were, staring at his daughter. Next to Barbara Evans, Kelly seemed, smaller. Still pretty, sure. But Barbara? She had presence. Auburn hair catching the lights. Smile like a spotlight. Paul Evans had it all lined up. Dead wife turned saint. Knockout daughter with a law degree. Gymnastics medals. And amazing charm. Political gold. The press would eat it up with a spoon. Robert, Barbara lit up, stepped in, and wrapped me in a hug. Not your standard social hug. This was full body, slow, intentional. Her curves pressed right up against me, lingered just long enough to register. You look amazing. No wonder Kelly keeps you hidden. You never come to these parties. Gotta stop working so much, it's bad for you. She fired off, all breathless charm. I just stood there, thrown off, muttered something about her looking lovely. Then it hit me. Two things. Fast. She never even looked at Kelly. And what parties? Before I could ask, Kelly jumped in all bubbly, laying on a big show for Barbara, blocked me from saying a word. Then we got shuffled along. Later, over drinks, I circled back. What parties was Barbara talking about? Kelly just waved it off with a laugh. Oh, her? She's being a brat. Paul sometimes has team meetings here. Says it's safer than a bar, less chance of being overheard. She leaned in like we were sharing secrets. Between us, Paul lets her drink at home, even before she was legal. The pieces clicked into place. The affair wasn't just hotel rooms on conference trips. It was here, in his house, under the guise of team meetings. Wife dead, daughter at college most of the time. Easy access, no paper trail. Utterly convenient. Completely disgusting. The party droned on. Pleasant enough if your world hadn't just imploded. About 90 minutes after the speech, Margaret Williamson, the first assistant DA, approached. Stern, respected, impeccably professional. Mid-50s. Sharp eyes that missed nothing. Married 30-plus years to an electrician who'd put her through law school and now owned a successful contracting business. They were devoted. The kind of couple I thought Kelly and I could be. Margaret was the main reason Kelly took the job. I liked and respected her immensely. Sorry to steal your wife, Hogan, Margaret said, her tone businesslike but not unkind. Paul wants a quick staff huddle. Office logistics during the campaign. Kelly gave my arm a squeeze and followed Margaret towards the house. I needed air, needed distance from the murmuring crowd, the forced smiles. I wandered away from the main patio around the large, glittering pool, seeking refuge in the shadows on the far side. That's when I heard them. Not party chatter. This was sharp, cutting, voices like knives. They came from a path behind the lodge, tucked behind tall hedges. Something pulled me that way, instinct. Maybe something bigger. Paul Evans and Barbara. They were squared off, stiff like statues, air between them full of heat. With a married woman, father! Barbara's voice cracked like a whip. In our house, after what you did to Mom? You think she just broke on her own? You wore her down, lie by lie, affair after affair. Paul's face darkened. Watch your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. You think I didn't see the bruises? The nights she cried when she thought I was asleep? She took a step toward him. Kelly's not the first. You're a disease. Enough, he barked. And then came the slap. Loud, fast, brutal, like a branch snapping in the cold. Barbara staggered, clutching her cheek, eyes blazing. I felt my fists curl. Every part of me wanted to step in, but I stayed hidden. Not my move, not yet. You keep your mouth shut about my life, Paul growled. Unless you want to lose everything. Got it? Barbara didn't flinch. Her voice shook but didn't break. I don't want your dirty money. Mom left me her own. I'll be fine. Paul took a step forward, adjusted his suit, calm, ice cold. Don't test me, Barbara, or you'll regret it. That landed. I saw her flinch like someone just pulled the floor out from under her. I'm your daughter. Paul just stared, eyes dead, then turned and walked off, back toward the party like nothing happened. Barbara stood there, trembling, one hand still on her face. I waited. Let Paul's footsteps fade back into the noise. Then I stepped through the hedge. Barbara spun, startled. Her eyes locked on mine. Fear, raw and open. All that fight from earlier? Gone. She just looked wrecked. I heard everything, I said, low and steady. Calm compared to the storm I'd just watched. She looked away, jaw tight. Anger, embarrassment, shame, all of it fighting across her face. Then you know, she said. And you know what he really is. I knew he was screwing my wife, I said, voice like gravel. Overheard Kelly talking about their little farewell party. Her head snapped up. You knew about Kelly? Yeah, for a few days, I paused. Then took the jump. Your dad, he takes what he wants. Doesn't care who he burns. He's torn up my life. Yours too, his own daughter. I looked her dead in the eye. Maybe we're not here by accident. Maybe this was meant to happen. He's left a trail, probably a long, dirty one. And me? I follow trails for a living. Numbers, patterns, hidden crap. Something clicked in her eyes. The fear shifted into something sharper. You're saying you want to take him down? He threatens his own daughter, I said flat. Cheated on his wife, on mine. That kind of man doesn't deserve power, doesn't deserve anything. People need to see him for what he really is. But he's powerful, she whispered. He's got allies, big ones. And we've got the truth, I shot back. Maybe even receipts. You mentioned photos, videos. Her lips curled into a slow, dangerous smile. Fear gone, replaced by something cold and ready, like a soldier finding a comrade in the dirt. Yeah, she said, voice steady now. I've got things. Stuff that'd burn the image clean off him. She looked me in the eye and something passed between us. No need to explain it. What do you need from me, Hogan? That name. This time, it felt different, like a nod between hunters before the end. Everything you've got, I said, and a way in. To his finances, campaign dirt, whatever he's hiding, we make him to pay? Together? I looked her dead on. We bring him down, hard. She nodded once, sharp, solid, no handshake, no speeches. Just shared pain, shared rage, and the start of something unstoppable. Paul Evans had no clue what was coming, but he would. Real soon. The next 3 days were chaos, quiet, focused, dangerous chaos. Barbara, a damn natural. Years of pent-up rage and fear turned her into a machine. She dropped keystroke loggers on both his home and personal laptops, cloned his hard drives, hacked his cloud, pulled full access to his fancy home security system, inside and out. Footage, files, messages, evidence started stacking fast. My job, keep playing the role. Normal husband. Loving, clueless. But I started laying the groundwork. Subtle moves, cold distance. I faked a groin pull, easy excuse to dodge intimacy. Gave me space, gave her doubt. Truth? The thought of touching her made my skin crawl knowing she let him in. God knows how many others. I got tested for some special diseases that same day. Came back clean for now. Barbara gathered financials and cloud backups, but I needed something off the books. So I made a call. Ray D'Angelo, private investigator. Ex-cop, still knew how to work a case without leaving a digital trail. You want dirt on Evans, he said. No notebook, no recorder. Just that gravel voice and a slow stir of sugar. That'll cost. Not worried about the price, I said. I want what's not in the news. Off books, affairs, money. Pressure points. Ray nodded once. Give me 3 days. 2 days later, he called. I met him back at the diner. He slid a manila folder across the table like it was radioactive. I opened it, and there it was. Secret children, photos, birth records, transfer summaries. 2 names circled in red. First one, Ray said, pointing to a baby-faced blonde in a staff badge, was a campaign aide. Got pregnant 3 years before his wife died. Kid's 5 now, quiet settlement. She gets $2,000 a month. Listed as a consultant. I flipped to the next page. Younger girl, 19. This one, hospital volunteer. Kid born 8 months after the wife passed. Same deal. No noise. I felt my jaw tighten. Both paid out of campaign funds? Ray gave a grim smile. Right from the pack, like it's pocket money. Classic amateur move. Paul Evans wasn't just a cheat. He was a walking time bomb. Thursday morning, Kelly was packed for Pittsburgh. Her big farewell with Paul, completely clueless. A little irritated I wasn't more hyped about the trip, or us. She slid up behind me at the kitchen table, coffee in hand, arms around my shoulders. Pressed her lips to my ear. Hope you feel better by Sunday, big guy, she whispered. Warm breath, familiar scent. Made me want to gag. So we can start working on that baby. The way she said it, so casual, like everything wasn't a lie. Took everything I had not to pull away. Just need rest. Ice, I mumbled into my mug. I kissed her forehead out of habit. Empty, robotic. She purred, pressing closer. Wish I could stay. Just be home all weekend. Without clothes, with you. You could always tell Evan something came up, I said. Couldn't help it. Something more important. The words came out smooth, but sharp as glass. She stiffened slightly, pulled back. What's your problem with Paul, Bob? Seriously. You were rude at the party. Now this. You sound like you hate him. Time to take a swing. Just a small one. Let her see a crack. I shrugged, played it casual. Honestly, guys like Evans rub me the wrong way. I've seen too many big shots go down. Think they're bulletproof until they're not. She paused. I kept going. Big fish, small pond, selling a dream. Like that mayor last year, embezzling, screwing around, wound up in federal prison. Family's wrecked. I sipped my coffee, let it hang. Evans feels like that. He makes it to DC. He'll be chasing interns in a week. Guys like that, wheels always come off. I looked at her, deadpan. When they do, I don't want to be anywhere near the crash. Kelly stared, shocked. She'd heard my professional cynicism before, but never directed at her mentor, her lover. Hogan, that's terrible. Paul's a good man. He's done so much. Her defense sounded weak, almost pleading. A car horn honked outside. Paul arriving with the junior lawyer chaperone. He's here, Kelly sighed, frustrated. She gave me a look. Regret, fear, impatience warring on her face. Be home Sunday. We'll talk then. Get ready, love. She tried for playful again. We've got a baby to make. Another kiss. This one quick. Demanding a response I couldn't genuinely give. Love you, she breathed. She grabbed her bag. Bye, dear, she called from the door. Goodbye, Kelly, I said quietly to the closing door. 30 minutes later, I was on the train to Philly, meeting Barbara, meeting the FBI. The evidence review was grimly satisfying. Paul Evans wasn't a criminal mastermind. He was moderately careful, arrogant. Standard methods, shell corporations, offshore accounts, around $2 million traced, likely more hidden. Campaign donations laundered from dubious sources. Traced some donations back to defendants who received suspiciously lenient plea deals. Classic quid pro quo, just buried deep enough to look clean. Barbara was shocked about Secret Children. She'd always known he was a monster. Now we had proof. Gary, my FBI contact, met us in a back room at the Philly field office. Clipboard in hand, eyes sharp. All right, what have you got? Barbara slid over the drive. Financials, messages, security footage. Found it by accident, poking around Dad's cloud backups. Innocent curiosity, I added. Gary plugged it in, scrolled through, froze on a folder. Jesus. Secret kids, hush money, campaign funds. Clean enough for court, I asked. He leaned back, nodding slow. It's a gold mine. You'll move on it? Subpoenas by Wednesday, tops. Maybe sooner. Barbara crossed her arms. He's running for Senate, Gary smirked. Yeah, not for long. Rats will be diving off that ship real fast. On the train back home, Kelly called. Early check-in. Big dinner planned, late night, blah, blah, blah. No doubt code for another night in Paul's bed. I kept my responses vague, distracted. Mentioned casually. Just had a meeting with some FBI agents. Ooh, exciting, she chirped, instantly intrigued. Anything juicy? Can't talk specifics, I replied truthfully. Ongoing investigation. Could be big, though. National news, maybe. Really? Give me a hint. Couldn't resist. Corrupt politicians, I ticked off. Bribes, money laundering, adultery, secret children. A sharp intake of breath on her end. Anyone I know? She asked, her voice suddenly tight. Already said too much, Kel. Bureau would have my badge. Let her sweat. Let her wonder which of her secrets were about to blow up. Oh, you're no fun, she pouted, trying to regain control. Don't worry, love. Your secret's safe with me. The irony was suffocating. We said our goodbyes. Walking into the house felt like stepping into a tomb. 10 years. Gone. All because of a few words I wasn't meant to hear, some files, and a pissed-off daughter with receipts. I dropped onto the couch, watched the sun go down, sky turning that bruised purple and blood red, like it was pissed too. Watched my old life fade with the light, then just sat there in the dark. For hours. Didn't feel much of anything. Just empty. Midday Saturday. I shook off the self-pity. Time to move. Doing something, anything, helped clear the fog. I was back out mowing the lawn, just trying to stay grounded. That's when a sleek BMW convertible rolled up the driveway. Barbara. She stepped out like she owned the sun. White dress, tan legs, fiery red hair. She leaned on the car, gave me a once-over. "Well, you look better than I expected. Half thought I'd find you drunk or staring off a cliff." I snorted, wiped my brow. "Thought about both. Mowing was cheaper." "Met a lawyer? Leaving Tuesday." 3 weeks, Austin, work trip. Got an audit lined up?" She raised an eyebrow. "Call it timing," I said. "Let the storm roll in while I'm gone. Maybe it's running. Or maybe I just don't want to watch it burn." Barbara nodded, understanding flashing in her shrewd eyes. The political fallout would hit her hard too. Smart. Thinking ahead. That's your superpower, right? A sly smile played on her lips. "So, while you're strategically retreating..." Before she could proposition whatever plan she had, a familiar car pulled up across the street. Olivia, getting out, heading towards my house. Perfect timing. An idea sparked, cold and sharp. Revenge, served impulsive and public. "Barbara," I said quickly, turning towards the house. "Come inside. Quick favor." Confused but intrigued, she followed me in. As Olivia started up the walkway, I met her at the door. "Liv!" What a surprise. Olivia looked flustered, guilty. "Bob, Hogan, I just wanted to see how you were." "Doing great," I said brightly, stepping aside slightly, revealing Barbara standing just inside the entryway. "Just entertaining. You know Barbara Evans, right? Paul's daughter?" Olivia froze, eyes wide, darting between me and Barbara. Barbara gave a slow, sweet smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We were just heading out for lunch," I continued smoothly, stepping forward, deliberately placing a casual arm around Barbara's waist. "Carefree fun before Kelly gets back and we settle down to make babies, you know?" I leaned in towards Olivia, dropping my voice conspiratorially. "Between us, Liv, Kelly's probably having her own farewell fun with Paul in Pittsburgh right now. Been going on for months, hasn't it? Fair's fair, right? Seducing the boss's daughter seemed like poetic justice." Olivia stared, mouth agape, color draining from her face. She looked like I'd slapped her. You know?" she stammered. "Oh, I know Kelly figured she needed one last ride before playing house," I said, twisting it in, acting like I was just brushing off Olivia's shock. "If she gets a free pass, why can't I?" I watched her close. And yeah, something flickered in her face. There'd been others, even before Paul, and Olivia knew it. "You know about before too?" she gasped, confirming my shot in the dark. "No," I said softly, letting the implication hang. "But thanks for the confirmation, Liv." Olivia turned white. "Now, if you'll excuse us..." I guided Barbara past her out the door. "Go away, Olivia." She stumbled back, turned, and practically ran to her car. We heard the engine roar to life, tires screeching as she fled. "Well," Barbara said, regaining her composure, a spark of amusement in her eyes. "That was fun, though I think you just detonated her world, too." "Collateral damage," I shrugged. She chose her side. I glanced at my phone. "Give her 5 minutes to call Kelly." As predicted, 10 minutes later, while we were driving to a secluded restaurant miles away, my phone erupted. Kelly, message after furious message. Texts filled with outrage, accusations of me cheating. The hypocrisy was almost laughable. An hour later, I blocked the number. Let her stew on the 5-hour drive back from Pittsburgh. I waited her outside the DA's office in my car, engine idling, phone in hand. Barbara had texted, "Courier's inside, should be any second." Then the door opened. Kelly stepped out, coffee in one hand, her phone in the other. She didn't see the guy in the suit until he was right in front of her. "Kelly Evans?" She blinked, stopped walking. "Yes?" He handed her a large envelope. "You've been served." Her smile shattered. I got out of the car and crossed the street, slow, calm. She stared at the envelope like it might explode. "What is this?" she said, breathless. "Divorce papers," I said flat. "With attachments. Compliments of Barbara." She ripped it open right there. The photos hit first, then the DVD sleeve, the letter on top, with my signature. "No," she whispered, then louder. No, what is this? You can't do this." People were starting to look. "Good. You followed me? You spied on me?" she shouted. "No," I said. "You just weren't as careful as you thought. Paul was even worse." She flipped through the documents, her fingers trembling. "These are lies," she barked, voice cracking. I'll sue you for this. You'd have to prove it's fake first, I said. Which it's not. She looked up at me, eyes wide, pale now. She shook her head, whispering, You're not this cold. This isn't you. You never knew me, I said. That was the problem. And then she collapsed right there on the sidewalk, knees hitting the concrete. People rushed in. A paralegal caught her before her head hit the ground. I stood there a second longer, then turned and walked back to my car. Didn't look back. It was supposed to be Paul Evans' big day, his Senate campaign launch. Hotel ballroom packed shoulder to shoulder. Cameras, reporters, donors. The usual smug power brokers clapping themselves on the back. Barbara was there, somewhere in the wings, dressed sharp, steady under pressure. I was seated in the second row, just behind the press pool, watching Paul preen like a game show host under the lights. Margaret Williamson stood beside him. Tight smile, stiff posture. She glanced my way once. The signal. When the floor opened for questions, I stood. Microphone passed into my hand. Room went quiet. Robert Crane, I said. Forensic accountant. Paul's face froze. I have one question for District Attorney Evans. One I think the voters deserve to hear answered. The air shifted. In the last 7 years, how many campaign funds were rerouted to pay off the mothers of your 2 undocumented children? Dead silence. Paul opened his mouth, but the words never made it out. From the back of the room, 4 agents moved in. Smooth suits, badges up, guns visible. They weren't waiting. Paul Evans, you're under arrest. Fraud, misuse of public funds, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy. He spun, tried to argue, tried to push past, but they grabbed him fast. He screamed something. About lies, about setups, but nobody moved. Flashes exploded as they dragged him past the podium, cuffed, jacket slipping off his shoulders, tie twisted. Live. On every major network. Barbara didn't speak, just watched. Calm. Sharp, then quietly walked out. Margaret stepped forward, took the mic, cleared her throat. This office does not protect criminals. The room burst into noise. Questions, shouts, chaos. My divorce finalized quietly, quickly. Kelly signed everything 4 days after being served, accepting the 50/50th split, asking only for a chance to apologize in person someday when things weren't so raw. Her letter reiterated she'd always loved me. Empty words. Heard from Ellen she quit the DA's office, moved Midwest to live with an aunt. Gone. My career? Took off. FBI gave me public credit for the analysis. Big win. My firm ran with it. Promoted me, put me in charge of a new white-collar crime unit. But a month later, I was driving home from work. Long day, nothing unusual. Just the usual winding back road I took every night. I hit the brakes before the tight curve near the old mill. Nothing. Pedal went straight to the floor. No warning, no sound, just dead brakes. I yanked the wheel, managed to swerve off the road, and hit a tree. Airbag deployed. Car totaled, but I walked away with just bruises. I was still sitting there, dazed, when my phone buzzed. Unknown number, one text. You know who this is from, watch yourself. That chill I hadn't felt in weeks, it came roaring back. Paul was locked up, but his people still out there, and they weren't done.